for the Most High.
You got it off. You got it.
But that's that Romans 10:2. That zeal. That you know, that word zeal goes into what? Zealous, man.
Right, man.
Being a zealot or being passionate about something, man.
Right.
But you know what? Not all of Yashar Allah Slakia have that zeal according to knowledge, which is why you see what? Our people into all kind of wayward philosophies, man. Hey, I seen Jake in the Buddhism, man. Yeah. Hey, that man shine after he Judaism. Yeah, that man shine. He came out of jail for doing that bit for Diddy, and you know he was into Judaism, man. You know, went to the rock, bowing his head in the yarmulke and all of that, man. But you know, Jake, when he does something, man, Jake overpasses the deeds of the wicked, man. He goes hard, you know. But when it comes to the actual knowledge, they don't have that zeal according to that knowledge, man.
This is for the brother that was up there, right? This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 41. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward.
So that show you that even if the brother don't subscribe to, the Lord will still scoop him up, man. The Lord will still scoop him up just to show the mercy, man. It said that if you give a prophet a cold glass of water, man, you'll receive a reward, man.
Reward of a prophet. Yep.
You'll receive a reward, because ultimately the kingdom is our entire nation being righteous and our entire nation winning, man. That's the goal, that's the inheritance that our forefathers had inherited, man. That our entire nation would be righteous, man. So at the end, all of the nation of Yahshua Allah is going to receive the same reward ultimately, man. Which is dominion. Which is to reign over our oppressors, man. To hold them captives whose captives they were, man. And those things take faith. Those things aren't something you can pull up a science book and see it visibly, all right? Otherwise, the whole world will understand it and get their mind right. It's meant to be put in parables and codes and snares and traps so that the whole world can walk on in darkness and the Lord can get the desirables and sift out all the undesirables, man. The Lord always uses parables that compare what he's doing right now to gardening, man. Separating the wheat from the tares. No seed shall fall to the floor if the Lord wills it. All of these are comparisons to agriculture, man. Because that's what the Lord's doing. This whole planet is looked at as a garden, as a forest, as a paradise. That's why I said the garden eastward in Eden, man. Meaning that the garden was a paradise in itself, but the entire planet was known as Eden, man.
That's
but it takes the true understanding. It takes the nation of Yahshua Allah to actually break this down, man. Or you're not gonna get it. It's like, you got it.
You good. It's Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand.
Exactly, man. And we're reaching that time now, man. This is spiritually the last call for alcohol for these Babylonians, man. They're gonna enjoy themselves right now, and then like a thief in the night, the Lord is gonna charge them for the bill that they've been doing, man. It's like they've been sitting in a restaurant, which is the earth, running up the tab, man. Laughing, having a good time, running up the tab so much that they forgot they had to pay, man. And now the Lord is sending the waiters. We're the waiters right now going and coming to the table of the so-called white man and the other nations saying, look, the bill about to be due, and eventually we're gonna have the Lord gonna send security. And security is gonna come by way of them chariots, the death, the pestilence, the famine, the World War III. All of that is gonna be the Lord bringing the security to get the so-called white man off the fucking dinner table, man.
Hey, I got something. I got it. It's Isaiah chapter 14, starting at verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord, shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Verse 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
And the Lord is breaking the staff for the wicked as we speak. And it's not quick. The Lord ain't just taking the whole stick and slamming it against the rock and letting it break in one big piece. The Lord is carving out pieces of the staff. and eventually he gonna carve it till it's so brittle and weak that he just gonna smash it, man. And that's what we witnessing, this economy going down, the opioid crisis with the so-called white men and the middle-class Americans, man. Suicide rates,
ODing.
wildfires, hurricanes, earthquakes. All of these are the Lord chipping away at the staff of the wicked, man. And eventually the Lord's gonna break it down. It said that in Revelation, with violence shall Babylon be taken down, man.
Hey, true too. When you read Psalm 17, King David said, protect me from the wicked, which is thy sword, man. Now the scriptures also tell you, if Satan be, how can Satan cast out Satan?
Right.
Well, guess what? The Most High is still using Satan as the sword to even take down Satan himself. That's why, hey, that's no, the Most High, hey, that's heavy, man.
I got a precept on that.
I want me to keep. I got more. This one. You bring it out.
Just to what you said, Revelation 17 and 17, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled.
Hey, so the Most High put the spirit on Satan to cast out Satan.
Right.
Showing you that the wicked is still the Most High sword, man. Even until the very end, until he gets rid of them, according to Obadiah, man.
And this tension with Russia and America is gonna boil over, man. And all of their allies, everybody's gonna turn into a royal rumble, man.
Right here.
Which is World War III. You got
Back in Isaiah, the 14th chapter, in the 6th verse, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke,
right.
he that ruled the nations in anger,
Right.
is persecuted and none hinder it.
And nobody's gonna come to the aid of the so-called white man and his allies, man. And that day, when the Lord said that they shall be as a chased rope, which is a scared deer, man. A deer in headlights. They run for their life, man. Or they freeze.
One of the two.
One of the two. They either running for their life or they freezing, waiting for their judgment to hit them like a hurricane, man. And that's what you have. The Lord is slowly starting to send the so-called white man to his judgment, man.
Right. Yeah.
The bill is due, man. Period. You got it.
This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahawashi knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is
Right.
brought to desolation.
Right.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
And there's a YouTube series called Divided America, man, which shows you the spirit of YAHAWASHI's prophecy, because it goes into how divided these Americans, which really go back to Babylonians, how divided they truly are, man. On politics, the wealth gap, doomsday prepping. You got all kind of trick bags going out here showing you that the Lord is casting Satan against himself, even within Babylon, man. Not to mention Tubal, Gomer, all of these other nations that are going to conspire against America, but you got America divided against itself. And it said if Satan be divided against Satan, that kingdom shall not stand, man. So we're watching this kingdom fall, man. You got it.
I got to bring this out because he brought that out. It's the same thing, but it's in a different way. It's Mark chapter 3, verse 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan?
Right.
And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Right.
And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end.
Hold on, if Satan does what? If Satan does what?
If Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end.
So if Satan is just a spiritual power, how is he going to rise up against himself?
I'm still here.
What they call it, mitosis?
Hey, I'm still, hey, that's the spirit. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. Isaiah 14.
You gonna split his cells
I'm at
up?
the 7th verse.
Right.
Oh, yeah, woo.
Come on, man.
Woo. Isaiah, hey, are you from New York City, man? You remember that game we used to play taps where you gotta, you can't touch the floor? Yeah, man, you play some snatch
with ball,
you can't have, your feet can't be on the floor while the ball is in your hand. Hey, man, tap it out. Man, this is Isaiah 14, our 7th verse. It says, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at Salakia, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us.
And the Lord is making that manifest, man. Who's synonymous for deforestation, man? This system that the so-called white man's created, man, this capitalist Western hegemon, man. That system that has been created is directly in alignment with prophecy, man. Japheth wasn't gonna be doing that for you simple Negroes, man. That wasn't Japheth that was gonna be doing that, man. Wreaking havoc all over the planet like this, man. For you so-called white man is Japheth Israelites, man. He's doing exactly what he's doing so that the son of perdition shall be revealed, man. In every box, you can check off Esau, man. The so-called white man. You can check him off in every box, man.
I don't know.
You got it.
Verse 9, hell from beneath is moved, from thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead from for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Verse 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. You know, because when a body is laying inside of a casket and decaying, there's nothing but worms and maggots on that body, man.
Right.
Showing you this is talking about the demise of Lucifer, man. And we're gonna get into who Lucifer really is talking about, man.
Right.
Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Now, how did Lucifer weaken the nations? Going back to the atomic bomb. You know, Oppenheimer said that when he became the destroyer of worlds, man.
Right.
That's the quote that he made after the Manhattan Project was finished, man. He said, I've become the destroyer of nations, man. That's how you weaken the nations, man. Because when you drop those atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, man, that shook the entire world. And I mean that in the oikumene sense, man.
I can say this too, and not just with the atomic bomb, but with these philosophies as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
With all these different religions, how they teach the kids in the school. And all of that. That's how they weaken the nations, man.
Yeah.
Democracy, that's his real
And their democracy as well. You know?
Yeah, the democracy of the so-called white man is very destructive, man. But that's why it said that he was going to be different from the other beasts, because he created a Senate system where you have more than one people ruling, where really a monarchy is the purest form of government, all right? Because you only have to appease one man that's making the decisions, man. When you go in the Senate, you can manipulate certain people to get certain votes.
Yeah, I think it is.
And that kind of started with Alexander when he died, man.
Right.
Showing you that, because usually when a king passes on, it gives up the ghost. His eldest son, or however, whatever they had going on, his son is the heir to his throne.
Right.
But here it is, Alexander gave up the ghost. The Most High took him out. What happened? His nation was divided onto 4 generals. And what did the scripture say after that? Evils or what? They were multiplied in the earth, man.
Because not only do you have a flawed system, but you have a flawed people inside of a flawed system running it, man. So the Senate,
the unjust king, the unjust
Yeah,
because you have, I mean, there's a documentary on Rome, and it goes into Caesar on Netflix, and it shows you how when Caesar was ruling as a counselor in Rome, he would just beat the shit out of the Senate to get them to vote for his votes. He would send goons. He would send peasants, street thugs in the Senate houses and beat them up if they didn't vote according to his will, man. And you go into the Rome documentary, it shows you that, man.
Who else? Was it Caligula on that same
Yeah,
bullshit.
all of them did that.
Yeah,
shit. All of them.
Caligula was on that
was
Hey,
same
fast
bullshit.
forward, the KGB do it in Russia. They come get you, go disappear. They still doing this shit.
Political prisoners.
CIA.
But America does the same shit too,
Guantanamo
man.
Bay, yeah, we still do
Hey,
it.
wait,
Yeah, they don't
but
change.
that's the nature of the so-called white man.
You know what? That's
You know what I'm
because
saying?
that's who that is.
That's his nature. You
Can't
look at
change.
so-called. This is what they say when so-called SEAL Team 6 went and so-called killed Osama bin Laden. They said that the team that carried out that mission were on a Vietnam-era Chinook helicopter that took off from the FOB and got hit by an RPG, and they all died. So it just goes to show you that when you doing the dirty work for this so-called, they'll ghost you. They ghost their hitmen, man.
Got a preset.
You know,
they'll kill a
ghost their hitmen. They did that with Pat Tillman too. You know, that's why a lot of these so-called CIA operatives, they have to, after they finish or retire, they go what you call off the grid, man.
Facts.
Because they know once
Hey,
they retire,
Born Identity. That's what Jason Bourne was
that's what it's all
about. Yeah.
about. They know that as soon as they get done with these high classified missions, man, they got to get the fuck off the grid.
Red
because
too.
what's going to happen,
Bruce Willis
man?
in Red.
Oh yeah, all of them.
They hire
Yeah, facts.
hitmen to hire.
Yeah.
They even show you that in Mr. and Mrs. Smith when they even woke up one day and they was the targets.
Yeah, on each
You know?
other. Yeah.
So they're gonna hire a hitman, and that's how Esau works, man. That's how they get down.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and the dividing of time.
And exactly, man, he's speaking great words as we sit here, man.
And if I could say this real quick, Yoshi said the same thing. He did the same thing.
Well, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that prophecy might have been about me.
Yeah, you see I got it right there highlighted. Antiochus at the top.
They talks about that's about Antiochus.
But like we said before, a lot of these prophecies are precedents, meaning that if the Lord handled this situation like that, he's going to handle every situation that's like this the same way, man. The judgment might be slightly different, but it's still going to be the same judgment, ultimately.
I still got Isaiah.
Because the Lord has for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction, all right? That's the Lord's balance, and that's the Lord's balance being seen inside of science, all right? Letting you know that the Lord is a balanced power, man, and he's a judge. And right now the scale is uneven. It's tipped all the way to the advantage of the wicked, man. And the Lord is about to even up the scale, so to speak, man.
That goes back to Genesis when the Most High put that hedge of protection around Cain, man. When he said when Cain said, he that findeth me shall surely kill me, and the Most High that whoever commits vengeance on Cain shall receive sevenfold, man. You know? But this, back in Isaiah 14, in verse 13, but thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. You know, and Obadiah talks about how the pride of your heart has deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock. He that exalteth himself as the eagle, man. When you look at the nature of an eagle, what does an eagle do? An eagle soars and he flies high, man. Right. And he scopes out his prey from the heavens and swoops down and takes that out, man. That's why Esau is so fanatical about his Air Force, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
The eagle symbolizes their pride.
Their Khan, right, Khan. So yeah, that eagle represents a spirit. Hey, the Most High deals with duality, man. He deals with his wisdom is double. It tells you that in Job. Well, on the carnal side, that represents his what? His Air Force, his satellites, man. But on the spiritual side, that eagle represents Esau's pomp. That's why Isaiah 14 says your pomp is brought low, man.
I got a precept.
All right, go ahead.
This is 2nd Esdras chapter 5 and verse 26. And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove, and of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. And it shows you the nature of YAHAWASHI, because the eagle has this great power, and it's an apex hunter.
Right, the skies, yep.
But the Lord favors the dove, man. The Lord favors the dove. The Lord calls these other nations scorpions, all kind of different animals. He was cunning than any other beast of the field. But what does he call the nation of Israel? Sheep.
The humble, the meek.
The Lord values the meek of the earth because the Lord got all power, man. And the show of force ain't nothing to YAHAWASHI, because he said even his works, most of his works are hidden from man. It ain't about showboating for the Lord. It's about having integrity, man.
Isaiah 14, reading verse 13 again, it says, "But thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
Right.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High." And you know, the stars of the Most High is also representing Yahshua.
Right.
Because each tribe was likened unto a star, right?
Right.
And it says, "I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north."
Right.
Now the mount of the congregation is talking about the government of Yahshua, and that he was going to sit on us how?
was talking about the
In here in North America, man.
Right.
That's why when you read Jeremiah, either you can read chapter 14 or chapter 23, it talks about the second Exodus out of the North Country, man. You know?
Change the topic.
Verse 14, "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High," man. You know? Hey, that's Esau saying in his heart that he's gonna be like the Most High, right? Why do the heathen rage, man? And the people imagine a vain thing. Hey, this is one of the most vain things that Esau could think of, man. That he can be like the Most High, man. You know? Yeah, bring that up, huh?
It's a precept backing up what you were saying. This Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 5. "By thy great wisdom and by thy trafficking has thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches."
Exactly, man. And that's how he's gotten all his riches. You got another precept?
I got one because you were talking about weak, right? How the Lord loves the weak. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war.
Right.
Wake up the mighty men.
Right.
Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords,
Right.
and your pruning hooks into spears.
Right.
Let the weak say, I am strong." Keep on.
So really that shows you that all of these nations that show force are really weak, man. Because we have the ultimate weapon, which is YAHAWASHI, man. That's why the Lord calls us sheep, because we don't need to have teeth. We don't need to have anything that could defend us, because the Lord is our defense, man. It goes into that all over Psalms, man. The Lord is a strong tower, man. All we're required to do is have faith in YAHAWASHI. In other words, have faith in your ultimate weapon, man. Don't go into the battle without no confidence in your weapon, man, which is YAHAWASHI.
Right, that's why it tells you in Revelation 2 and 9, he says, "I know thy works and thy tribulations and thy poverty," but then he says that thou art rich, man.
Right.
Come on, man. He says that, hey, the nation of Yahshua is poor. They going through trials and tribulations, and they're poverty stricken, but thou art rich. What makes the nation of Yahshua rich first and foremost? We serve the living power that had, where the Ark of the Covenant had Dagon on its knees, man, when the Philistines captured it, man. When you read 1 Samuel, the 5th chapter, it talks about how when the Philistines captured the Ark of the Covenant and they set it next to Dagon in their temple, they woke up the next morning and Dagon was on his was on his knees, man. Hey, and that was just the ark, man. Hey, we serve the Most High. Hey, man. Hey, the heathens' hearts melted when they heard that nation of Israel walked on dry ground, man. Come on, man.
You got it.
Just going what you were talking about trusting in the Lord, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 25. "The Lord hath opened his armory,
Right.
and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation."
So that means the Lord about to go into the mattress. you think the so-called white man is on some shit. The Lord, you about to see how far the Lord is willing to go for his people. That's what's really about to happen. You about to see exactly how far the Lord is willing to go for the nation of Israel's sake, man, to defend his people. He gonna go under that mattress and he gonna pull out some tricks.
He gonna go in the trunk.
He gonna pop the trunk.
Pop the trunk on
He gonna hit the code in the safe and pull out his weapons.
The MacGyver shit in the dash.
And we gonna see what works. We gonna see who straps is better.
Hey, that's why he's called the Lord of Hosts, man. The word host goes back to the word armies, man.
Exactly. It said that the Lord's a man of war, meaning that even though the Lord has a compassionate side, he with the shits, man. And they about to find out he really about that shit, man.
The Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldees.
And that shows you that the Lord is an apex hunter, man. Because the Lord is waiting for his prey, man. The Lord ain't letting his prey, he ain't just going out on the whim. No, he's cold and calculated, man. Especially when it comes to the nation of Israel. Negroes that tells the Native Americans have been persecuted, and the Lord has let it go on for centuries.
He ain't no kind of hunter.
But the get back is gonna be so cold and brutal. They're gonna think twice about even staring at a Negro, Latino, Native American again when this destruction happens.
Can I say this real quick? That's why the Most High called Yahawashi the conquering lion, man. Now, if any of you brothers ever watch Animal Planet and watch how a lion hunts, man, hey, they got the buffalo, you know, those are the other people, man. And when they just walk around proud, man, they walk around, they eating the grass, they grazing, they just eating and they're fat and happy. But that lion, man, that lion and the other lions are crouched down in the grass, just itching forward, man, itching forward. And when the appointed time comes, that lion swoops up, man, and he devours that prey, man. Hey, but that's like the Most High, man. Hey, these other nations are just grazing on the grass, man, in pride and in folly, man. And the Most High, Yahawashi, and Yahawashi is that conquering lion, which he already got the victory, but he got the victory on the spiritual level. That physical victory is getting ready to, whereas the Most High is getting ready to exact judgment, man.
This is Micah chapter 5 verse 8. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver.
Hey, the scripture said a young lion. Now when you, like, I used to watch, and that was my shit when I was growing up. Hey, when you look at an adolescent lion, you can tell because that lion, his mane isn't even fully, can't come in yet. But what sets him apart from a mature lion is that a young lion is all about killing, man. A mature lion knows how to sit there and wait for the right time to attack. But a young lion is all about bloodshed, man.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful point, because in Nat Geo, you watch how lions move, you can tell how seasoned the lion is behind his hunt. And even through the spirit, we're learning. We're young lions right now. So we have the desire, we have the zeal. But the Lord is teaching us maturity and what? Patience, man. Because for an apex hunter to receive his meal or his prey, he has to have what? Patience.
Right, and then also those young lions learn from their older siblings, man. In this situation, our older sibling is Yahawashi, man.
Exactly.
When you read Jeremiah 16:16, Yahawashi said, I sent for fishers, but the time is going to come when I shall send for hunters. Right? We're following Yahawashi's example. He came as a fisher, we're going to fish. When he comes back as a hunter, we're going to follow his lead, and then we'll be hunters, man. It's all on the will of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi, on his order, man. The Most High down to Yahawashi, man. You know?
This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 18. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time, and who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes, that he hath proposed against the inhabitants of Teman.
This is the gavel dropping. This is the sentencing and gavel dropping.
Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, and the cry, the noise thereof, was heard in the Red Sea.
You got it.
Isaiah chapter 54, verse 16 says, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. and I have created the waster to destroy.
Right. This is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. All right, and that's the brother's been hot, man. We've been on fire with the precepts, showing you that the Lord is showing that he's about to rise up against the prey, man. But if you're a young lion and you jump too soon, you could lose the prey, man. That's why the Lord said, wait upon me, man. Wait upon your conqueror, man. I created YAHAWASHI to do what you're trying to do. Let him come first, and then you fall in line. That's what we're learning, man. We're learning the patience and the faith, man. And that's what creates an apex hunter. In Micah 5 and 8, when that day comes, all of the tribulation the hopeful elect have went through is going to equal up to, in that day of judgment, them being apex hunters, man.
Right, man. Hey, when you watch these lions go down, man, hey, they went through a lot of failures, man.
Right?
They a lot of missed hunts, man. A lot of hungry nights, man. Hey, when an adolescent lion gets to a certain age, they depart from the pride, man. And it'll probably be like 2 brothers or 3 brothers will go out, man. Yep. Hey, but there's a lot of hungry nights that they go through because they missed that prey because they might have stepped to the left when they should have went to the right. They should have went to the right when they should have went to the left. Or they should have crouched when they should have, they were up when they should have hid, man. But those trials and those tribulations is that furnace of affliction, man. Knocking out all those impurities. Why? It's gonna make them, like the brother said, an apex hunter when it's all said and done, man.
And that precept brought out what we're supposed to do. Wait until the Lord, because the Lord has a plan. The Lord is playing chess on the board. You don't move no pawn without the Lord say so, man.
Exactly.
Who are you? The Lord said, wait upon me, because his determination, he gave us the game plan. We lucky to even have the game plan.
I'm saying this too. Hey, the Lord got to wait upon the Heavenly Father.
Right, right.
You know, there's an order, man.
And that's what we waiting on. We falling in line, and our order is going to be rewarded with us receiving spiritual power, receiving the blessings that come with patience, man. You got it, right?
Got 2, 3 real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 28. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our power, the vengeance of his temple.
Right.
Verse 30. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord.
And all their men are going to be cut off in that day, man. And faith is going to flourish, man. The hopeful elect are going to be rewarded for their faith. And likewise, these demons, these Babylonians, are going to be rewarded for their faithlessness, man. For their lack of faith, they're going to be rewarded with judgment, man. This comfort that America's enjoying now is going to be short-lived, man. And we're waiting on that time, man. We're inviting that time, man, to where America's destroyed. And they're in despair like Venezuela. All of these countries, coincidentally, they putting all this hell on countries, and the same snare that they have for all these other nations is going to fall upon them, man. They're going to fall upon their own sword, man. And that's all the spirit and will of YAHAWASHI, man. And that's for the sake of who? The nation of Israel, man. Like we said before, y'all are about to find out how far the Lord is willing to go and how gruesome the Lord is really going to get for the sake of his people, man.
Wisdom of Solomon 5:1 is about to... I got you. I got pre. I've been...
Just like you were saying, them same things, like take Venezuela for instance, those same things that's happening over there is going to be happening right here, man.
Right.
That's just a test. That's a test run for over there, man. You know, that's a trial run. You know, that same shit is coming to the shores of America, man.
Wow.
So get ready, man.
And that's how you know that Esau is the sword of the Most High, because really and truly those things are orchestrated, man. Man, if you watch a video of a man named what's that guy's name? Alex Jones interviewed this guy back in 1992 named what's that?
Aaron Russo.
Yep. Aaron Russo said after we go into the Middle East, America was gonna go after Chavez in Venezuela. Showing up, look. So really, truly, the elites are the ones orchestrating and pushing these things for their agenda, but they don't even realize they really pushing the agenda of YAHAWASHI and YAHAWASHI.
You know, everything that this devil do is orchestrated. Right? Just like with the housing bubble that happened in 2008, that was manufactured by these people, man, to cripple the dollar, to weaken the dollar. Because they need to get rid of that currency to usher in this damn shit.
Yeah, they gave all these home loans to people they knew wasn't gonna pay that shit back.
Right. And gave them ridiculous interest rates on it, man. So they were never gonna be able to pay the shit off from the get-go.
And they knew that. It was all manufactured, man.
But it shows you that there's balance with YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI. Because these nations are going into captivity one way or the other. You either gonna go in captivity on the right-hand side, or if your elites have their will, you're gonna go in captivity on the left-hand side. So the Lord has balance. It's just you either on that side or you on this side, man. And most of these people, whether they know it or not, they're being led as a sheep to the slaughter to the left side, man. They're gonna be willing servants of the elites, man. And all of the luxury that they're enjoying right now is being liquidated from them right in front of their very eyes. It says that 2/3 of Americans have less than $1,000 in their bank account, man. It's savings, man. 2/3 of Americans, man.
No, I do.
And it's only expanding. That gap is only getting bigger.
And they also say once a child is born, they're born into $100,000 in debt, man. You already a negative 100,000 being born in this world.
You in the red already.
You in the red.
You in the Edom already.
I know they say that each person owe like 63,000.
Off rip.
They done jumped up now.
Off rip, man. 100 grand.
And it's only gonna get worse, man. Me and the brother was talking off camera, and if you look at what's going on in the tech world, they say that in the coming years, 2/3 of the jobs that most of these Americans have are going to be done away with through artificial intelligence,
Robotics.
man. Robotics.
That's like Amazon, man.
Exactly.
Them damn warehouses they building is all robotics, man.
And you know what them tech guys are doing? They're doomsday prepping. They're preparing for the moment when the things that they're working on actually manifest and 2/3 of these people lose their job. Do you think they're going to care about what the government has to say when they don't have a job and a way to feed their family? What good is having a chip? Your ass ain't getting no money. And that's going to be the trick bag that the Lord put a lot of people in, man.
I got one. This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 2. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee.
Right, so if you're not watching, this hour is going to come upon you as a thief. You're going to be chilling, you're going to be doing your day-to-day in Babylon, and before you know it, death and destruction is going to come. Especially, chiefly for those who know of what's going on through the scriptures. The Lord that showed you some things, and you turn back to the world and do the mundane things of these Babylonians, man. That's going to be a swift judgment for you, man.
It's verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
And that shows you that that's not an embargo act, man. That's going to touch every man, woman, and child, man. Every man is going to be tempted in the hour of temptation. Every man is going to be tempted. It's not going to be a government legislation. All right? It's going to be every man in his own conscience and the temptation that's in front of him, man.
Like I say this, hey, what's the job? What's the job of a thief, man? Not only to steal, but he has to do it in a manner where you don't know that he's coming. A thief his job is also what? The element of what? Surprise, man.
The decree, unrighteous decree.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that when you look at a thief, a thief ain't gonna let you know that he's coming to rob him, man.
Right.
You just gonna wake up in the morning and your shit's gone.
That's the cat burglar, man.
So the Most High said he's gonna come like a thief in the night, man.
Hey, so Lucky, he watch you too. He watching to see when you go to work.
Yeah,
he see we catch you slipping.
Hey, the thief is watching you. He's scoping you out.
Damn.
Hey. And that's why when you read the scriptures, it says that when they shall say peace and safety, and sudden destruction shall come upon them, man. Hey, that's that calm before the storm, man. That calm is the people saying peace and safety, and that storm is sudden destruction, man.
That's why the Lord say this right here, right? It's Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 12.
You got Jamaicans on there?
Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes.
Right.
For the Lord have both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon.
And the Lord is the ultimate chess player, man. Because in the game of chess, you have to set your opponent up, man. You have to put your opponent in a position to where you have what they call checkmate, which means there's nowhere they can go without being destroyed. And that's what the Lord's doing. He's putting all the pieces in place so that Amos 5 will play out. Where he's going to run from a bear and be met with a snake. He's going to run from a lion and be met with a snake, or escape from the snake and be met with a bear. The Lord is putting the Esau, his allies, and 2/3 of our own nation in a checkmate position, man. That's why he said, wait until I rise up to the prey.
He said set up the ambushes, man.
This is going into what the brothers.
That's
brother had brought out.
Over there watching.
This is Sirach chapter 33 verse 1. There shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, but in temptation even again he will deliver him.
Yeah, so the men of the Lord, their shield and their ultimate treasure is the fear of the Lord and faith, man. Because we actually do have the ultimate weapon, both the offensive and defensive, man. So in that time, the Lord is going to be an ultimate defense unto us, and then he's going to give us the ability to be an ultimate offense for him. He said that he's going to use us to break in pieces the nations, man. You got it.
Ooh. Hey, this is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 16. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi, the Lord of hosts, send among his fat ones leanness, and under his glory he shall kindle a burning like the burning of a fire. And the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame. And it shall burn and devour his thorns and his brows in one day.
And that's why the Lord said you don't take your candle and put it under a bushel, man. Because our candle right now is burning this place up, man.
Hey, burning this
it said
place
that
up.
I shall make your words like fire, and these people shall be wood, man.
I got another one for y'all.
This is Isaiah chapter 28 verse 16. Therefore thus saith the Lord thy power, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste.
Exactly. And we're not making, I should say, we're not making haste in the lack of faith sense, all right? We're making haste to get out of here, man. But we don't lack the faith, man. Our foundation is Yahawah, the one they ignorantly call Jesus, man. And we believe that the Lord's coming back to deliver the elect and to render recompense to all these nations and 2/3 of our own people, man.
It's a right.
We have faith in that, man. And that's why we let our candles shine before men. And that brother brought out a beautiful precept showing that the light that we have shining before men is burning this place down, man. And everything that deteriorates always starts from within, man. It starts with the mentality, the morality, and then eventually it physically manifests, man. Got it all?
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 29. Is not my word like as a fire,
right,
saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces?
And that's what's happening, man. You have these philosophies, these doctrines being broken in shivers, man. You have the Lord's law and the faith that's required to follow Yahawashi cutting people, man. It says this is the condemnation that light has come into the world and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds are evil, man. Evil has become the norm, man. Lying, cheating, stealing, that's the normal of these nations, man. And it's because the wicked is in rulership, man. And it says, as the ruler is, so is the what? The people, man. Donald Trump is a reflection of these peons in America, man. A shit-talking, no deal maker, man. Who talk more than he actually, who talks more than he actually does things that he's supposed to be doing, man. A reality star is the leader of this nation, man. That shows you something about this nation, man.
This is Matthew chapter 3, verse 11. I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance, but he that cometh after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Holy Ghost and with fire.
And that shows you that John the Baptist, what he was doing was a shadow of things to come, man. The water is cleaning brothers up in the spirit now. And the baptism of fire is the affliction that brothers are going through on the highways and hedges and off the highways and hedges, man, in their everyday life, man.
Hey, that's how the 2/3 gonna be baptized to that goddamn fire.
Yeah, because them nuclear missiles, man, and when you think of America getting hit with 200 million nukes, you dunking that motherfucker, a whole country under fire. You get what I'm saying? So hey man, America's gonna get baptized in fire too. Not only with thermonuclear destruction, but the chariots as well, man. You know?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 6, and he said, it is a like thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob. Read that again. Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 6, and he said, it is a like thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Exactly, man. And those Gentiles are Israelite foreigners, man. For you simpletons, man. Those are Israelite foreigners. And that light is going to bring them back to their covenant, man. To their rightful inheritance, man.
You got more?
Yeah. It's 49 and 2. And he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand have he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver have he hid me.
And a quiver is where you store your arrows and shit, man. That's where so every brother is a quiver in itself, man. And it's meant to hit a particular target, man. That's why when the Lord put the spirit on brothers to say certain things on the highways and hedges, it's a spiritual quiver hitting that person, marking them, man. Tagging them for later, man. In the battlefield, you would injure an opponent. You wouldn't go for the kill shot, because you could finish him off later, man. That's what the Lord is doing now. He's spiritually marking these people, so when it's time for the judgment to come to pass, everyone with the mark is going to get slaughtered, man. And everyone with the exemption is going to be exempt.
And that's funny you said that, because that's how lions hunt too. They look for the weak one,
right,
or the wounded one in the pack. Because what? That's the easy target.
Soft
man.
target.
It's a soft target. That's
This is 2 Ezra chapter 9 verse 1.
Bring it up.
He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
And that's what the Lord is doing. We already went into the forest fires, the grease fires, the earthquakes in diverse places, the uproars of the people, the famine, the pestilence. All of this is, what did Yahawashi say in Matthew 24? All of this is the beginning of sorrows, man. All of this is the opening act to the main event, man. And if you can't handle the opening act, man,
it's over. Can I go back in Isaiah 14?
Yes, sir.
Bring this out. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
Exactly, and that's what the Lord's doing now, man. And just like in the days of old, man, the Egyptians in those days, man, those plagues were happening, they were making all kind of excuses for why it wasn't the Lord, man. Until it becomes to a point where they have to just let the children of Yasharallah go. But it's going to be too late at that point. Now you just got to ride out the judgment just like the Egyptians had to, man. Plagues and death and destruction is on the way, man. You got it up.
Back in Isaiah 14 and verse 14, Esau said, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee,
right,
and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not his house of prisoners? Verse 18, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. 19, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword that go down to the stones of the pit, and as a carcass trodden under feet.
And that shows you that after 1,000 years of captivity, the other nations are going to sit and they're going to have their own leaders. But Esau's heritage is going to be completely decimated, man. It's going to be completely destroyed. And before his heritage is decimated, it's going to be shameful spewing on his legacy, man.
Can I back you up?
You got it.
Verse 19, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden under feet. Verse 20, what you just said, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial,
Right.
because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of the evildoers shall never be renowned.
Yeah. So the heritage of Esau is going to be completely cut off for his legacy, for his history of violence, man. It's not just now. He's been this way since Alexander the Great, man. Alexander the Greek, man. He was going around slaughtering nations and selling them into slavery, man.
Hey,
which
man.
goes into selling their sons to the Grecians, man. Because that's when they were they had that reputation of being the Grecians, man.